All right, welcome back, guys, non-binary pals. I have a special one today. More Mirage Turtles, my favorite series going on right now. Love every second of it. Videos of almost all the figures up on the channel. Please watch them and support and all that good stuff. This one, I found this at... Where did I find this? I found this at Best Buy. It's a Best Buy exclusive. I found it on the shelf there. So this is the Wanderer. And so obviously I'll go through the history like I do with my other videos on the channel. That's my thing. That's what people tend to like about my videos, so I'm gonna keep doing it. So the Wanderer. Who is the Wanderer? What is the Wanderer? You might not know. And I really didn't even know until I got this figure and did the research for this video. And the Wanderer in a nutshell is Michelangelo from a very specific, this is a deep dive in the series for real. Like, this is from a very specific issue. It's issue number 17. So the very first Mirage series, issue number 17. This is sort of like a, it's like a Michelangelo solo issue, but it's also sort of like a dream sequence. And we'll go over, you know, more of it. You know, I'll put some pictures up and stuff as we go through unboxing the figure. So I'll explain more stuff a little bit later. But like I said, it's a deep dive. Issue number 17. Look it up online if you don't have it, if you don't have access to it. Obviously, it's been reprinted in a couple different trade paperbacks, and it's definitely a pretty cool issue. And so it's good to get another turtle in the Mirage series, because obviously we have the, you know, set of 4 turtles. So this is the first single turtle that they've released for the series, and it's from that specific issue. It's definitely a little different than the other turtles. We'll compare them when I get them out of the box, which is, you know, what we're looking at now is the cool box. So it's the box just like all the rest of the Mirage things. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Wanderer, original art. Don't forget, these boxes have original art right here by Mr. Kevin Eastman. It's pretty darn amazing. I love it. They're works of art. You flip it over to the first side, you get the full body shot with, again, the completely original art. It looks so good. I love it. Other side, headshot, number 12 in the series. I can't believe they're up to 12 already, to be quite honest with you. But he's number 12. On the back, you got the action, you know, comic shots done in the old comic book style. Some other figures in the series. I do have a video of him. I don't have the Elite yet, and he is not out yet. I forget his name offhand. I'll look it up later. But he's not out yet, but I definitely want him. He's a pretty unique character if you've read the old Mirage comic book. He sort of goes along with Renee, or Renette, however you pronounce it, from one of the very first figures that came out. All right, so the new Wanderer figure, Best Buy exclusive. Let's get him out of the box. Check him out. All right, Wanderer out of the package. I've looked at him quite a lot, and he's definitely got the same heft and the same feel as the other turtles, which, you know, if you watched my turtle videos, you know I love the other turtles, the Mirage turtles. I absolutely love them. And this is the same weight, the same sort of heft to it, the same texture to the skin and everything. Obviously, there's a lot of different sculpting details. This is not straight reuse from them. And I don't know, one of the cool things, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the first time I've ever seen a NECA turtle without the bandana. So I don't know if maybe this is like a first for NECA, you know, the turtle head without the bandana. But it looks pretty cool. I never really overthought how they look without the bandanas, if that makes sense. But it definitely, you know, it looks good. It looks just like sort of, you know, the turtle head without the bandana. Let me get the regular mic right here so you can sort of compare the two. So obviously, you know, it's about the same size, about the same shape and everything, just no bandana. And the biggest thing that I noticed right away is obviously the color. So, because, you know, when this, like I said, this is from Mirage issue 17. When the Mirage series first came out, they were not in color. They were just black and white. I think they got colorized later, and I don't have pictures of the colorized version. So I'm not sure if this darker green was in the issue, but it definitely differentiates itself from the turtles. He's definitely a lot darker, and he's definitely got some good highlight work, especially on his arms, his legs, his kneecap, and everything have some lighter highlights going too. So there's a lot more varying colors, and there's a lot of varying textures on this, way more than the normal Mirage turtles. Like, I'll try to get as close as I can, but the texture on even his, you know, I don't know what you want to call this, you know, his cloth outfit right here. It's got that, you know, burlap sack, a little bit like potato sack, I don't know, texture to it, you know, and it's really, really good. Even these wraps around his wrist and around his upper arm, they're all textured too, sculpted on texture, and it looks so good. It looks really good up close. I hope you can see through in the camera. But that's just initial impressions, right? So let's talk about the Wanderer a little bit. So who is the Wanderer? I already told you it's Michelangelo from the specific issue. And what this specific issue is, it was just a one-shot. It was just a single issue. Michelangelo, you know, is a solo lone warrior. And like we've gone through in the past, the other turtles through the Mirage series have had solo issues. Like Raph came with the sort of, so Raph came with this cowl from the 4-pack when he had his like sort of, you know, solo adventures, which, you know, is naturally Raph, you know what I mean? And if you remember from the turtle video too, Leonardo even had like a solo phase too, where he wore an outfit like this when he was, you know, in the woods and very brooding and solo. He had a sort of wanderer look to him too. But this is sort of the official Wanderer from that issue. Michelangelo is a solo turtle. That's why he comes with the accessories he does too. Like it's got Last Ronin vibes here a little bit. Like it's Michelangelo, but he's got swords. He comes with a staff. He doesn't have any sais. He does have nunchucks, but you know, he's got most of the other turtles' weapons. And he comes along these people running away from this evil sorcerer. And one of the people was named Princess Tai. They got kidnapped. And so Michelangelo, in his, you know, wanderer vestige, basically went to the sorcerer's castle to rescue Princess Tai. And he eventually did rescue her. But as he went through the castle, obviously he had a lot of different battles, and it went through his weapons, and he had this very specific look. Like this look that he has right now, it looks exactly like, you know, he did in those issues. Oh, he still has his little tail. His cute little tail there. Anyway, so he infiltrated the castle with his wanderer look right here. He defeated the sorcerer. He brought him to justice. He rescued Princess Tai. And Princess Tai, you know, wanted him to stay there, wanted him to, you know, become part of their family. And he said, no, I will continue to wander and look for my brothers. And then the absolute best part of the story, the very last page, it zooms out to reveal. It is actually the modern Michelangelo. And he's sitting at a desk writing a comic book. So the story was all made up. And I believe he asked his cat, hey, do you think this is too corny or not? And I don't honestly know if his cat answered. So the Wanderer was a figment of Michelangelo's imagination. But that segues right into The Last Ronin. If you know The Last Ronin and read The Last Ronin, this has super Last Ronin vibes to it, right? That whole story. And this whole costume where he has his brother's weapons. This could have been, you know, the 30-year-old precursor to The Last Ronin, the seed that started The Last Ronin. Maybe, you know, I'd love to ask, you know, Eastman and Laird someday if that's, you know, where part of the inspiration for The Last Ronin came from. So there's a lot of detail notes on here. Two things, let's go over the negatives first. The two things that I'm a little indifferent about is maybe this strap, this X strap and the belt that goes around. Maybe they should have been an extra piece rather than just, you know, on there and painted. It seems a little too flat. It seems a little too two-dimensional for those, to be honest. It is very flat. Like it's not raised up at all. So it doesn't have that 3D look to it that I'm used to from NECA products. And then looking straight right out of the package, I actually don't like this joint. This joint cuts into the wraps right there. And I know NECA usually paints their joints. So I'm wondering why they didn't choose to do this with this one. Obviously this joint is reused from the turtles, I'm sure. And it does cut in there a little bit, and it is visually jarring a little bit, but you know, it's not a deal breaker or anything. Like, obviously when you put that up, you can't see it or anything like that. And you know, he's got his double elbows here. So he's actually, oh. So it does, he's got double elbows, right? The Mirage turtles have double elbows and double knees, but you can't really tell because they have the, you know, the knee pad and the elbow pad there. So he's just got naked elbows and stuff. So this must have been a new sculpt for a lot of this stuff. This is reuse, I know. These must be new sculpts. The hands, you know, the bicep, the forearm. Obviously the head is new. Like I said, it's the first head I've seen with no bandana. And I'll try to match up a shot from the comic book to this head, but it looks so good with the, you know, comic shading, battle damage. I don't know what you want to call that. It's scars and stuff, battle damage. Because remember, this is from Michelangelo's memory, or from his imagination. And in his imagination, he really made himself a badass. You know what I mean? He gave himself some scars and stuff like that, and you know, to make him feel good about himself, I guess. So there's no articulation at the chest or anything. There is the same turtle articulation, same Mirage turtle articulation right here on, you know, the groin. And obviously this is a semi-soft piece as to not hinder, you know, the leg movement at all. He does have the double knees, like I said before, and they're the big chunky legs. These are the same legs as the other turtles. It's the big, heavy, chunky ones. I definitely like it, but there's not a lot of range of movement there, right? There is a decent range of movement in the foot from what I remember. So we'll go back about that, forward about that, but then it does have, you know, that rocker in there to rock back and forth. And again, he's got the wraps on the shins right here. So this is reuse. This is new. This is new also, and the feet are reused too, because obviously this has the wrap around it. So obviously I love NECA's comic shading, the black shading, and it's textured just like the ones above too. So it's got that, you know, that raggedy sort of cloth texture, line texture to it, and it looks so good. And I definitely love the paint job here, right? Like, I love the green on the Mirage turtles, but this paint job has got a lot of contrast to it from light to dark. And so that really steps this one up a little bit. Going around to the back, he does have, you know, the two sword holsters, just like Leonardo. I wonder if it's the same texture and everything. Let's check. No, it's a little bit different, I guess. It's probably a whole new piece, because these ones are obviously side by side and these ones are an X pattern, but it looks good. Got all the lines on it right there. It is textured, and I'm sure the swords fit right in the top right there. Head articulation, he looks up about that much, down about that much. Does have a decent amount of rock there. He can, you know, do the exorcism, so there's a ball joint in there. So the neck doesn't move, it's just a ball joint in there, but there's definitely a lot of movement in there. I definitely dig it, and I just love the sculpt on this head. Like I said, I've never seen a turtle head without a bandana, and I'm in love with the head. I love the head. I love the colors here. I love the textures on the body. I'm just not sure about this, these straps right here, and then this cutout right there. But everything else looks pretty, I don't know, looks pretty amazing. Amazing NECA quality yet again. And I love comic shading. And this one's got comic shading. The black lines all over him. It looks amazing. Amazing. All right, obviously the first accessory he comes with are nunchucks. It's Michelangelo. It's no secret that it's Michelangelo. And I've heard people complain online about how these are not good because there's just a string attached to them rather than a chain or something like that. Why didn't NECA do anything better? But look at these shots from the comic book. It's a string. So these match the comic book. Like, what do you want? I'd rather have it match the comic book than be a nifty chain or whatever. So these match the comic books. They actually look better than the normal Mirage ones, meaning normal Mirage ones have no texture on them and they have no cell shading. So these ones are, you know, a step above what the regular Mirage ones were. They look super cool. They got the cell shading, they got the texture. All right, and he does come with two swords, just like his brother, Leo. And if you match it up with the Leo Mirage sword, it is the same exact sculpt. So there definitely is some color difference though, right? These are just sort of the black and white sort of vibe, which again, that's what the original comic book was, just black and white. And this one has that light blue tint to it, which these ones don't have. They're just straight white. So you got the darker handles, you got the comic shading still, the arm finger guards. I don't know exactly which one to call this. The finger guards are the same color, and the ends are just straight white too. So there's definitely a coloration difference, but I really love the sculpt on these. And I said with the Mirage ones, these are probably my favorite Leo swords out of all the Turtles figures I have, because they're super hard. They're not bendy at all. They don't feel like they're gonna break or anything. They're solid pieces. So I definitely dig it. I like having 2 more in the collection for sure. Just like that. Now he's got the traditional sort of double cross swords. The Mirage Leo, again, has the swords together. So this is the X. X gonna give it to you. All right, he does have a staff in there, and obviously this is not, a typical Donatello staff, because it's got a blade at the end. Obviously, Donatello, doesn't use a blade at the end. So, but I think the normal sculpt is the normal Donatello bow staff with just a blade added to the end, is what it looks like to me. The color's a little bit different, obviously. So the sculpt is the same. Color's a little bit different. It's a little bit lighter. The cloth in the middle, the wraps in the middle are the same color, but the bow staff itself is a little bit lighter. And then just like Leo, it's sort of got that, straight white blade at the end, which again, I have no complaints. I think it looks really good. And it's pretty cool to have a staff with a blade at the end. This is a first from what I've seen on the turtle side from NECA. And he doesn't come with size, but he does come with a sickle right here. Like a handheld one. Obviously, I'm not talking about like a Grim Reaper, like cut your head off one or anything, but he does come with one of these. And it looks good, just like everything else. Straight white blade, the brown handle with the wraps on it, with the comic shading. All right, 4 hands like most of NECA's products. There's 2 grippy hands and then 2 open hands. The hands that he comes with are punching hands. Punch people in the face hands. So these hands are cool. I didn't talk about the hands, I guess, on the regular figure, but they do have this guard on them too, which is just, a sculpted on thing with the comic shading on it again. So they look really good, and that differentiates itself from the regular Turtles a little bit. So honestly, I was almost gonna skip this figure. I wasn't sure if I had the budget for it right now or anything like that. But after getting it and seeing him with all the weapons and stuff on him, like, I think this looks amazing. And it does, after doing my research, it does match the comic book pretty well, and that's sort of my thing. Like, I want it to look like it jumped from the pages, and this definitely looks like it jumped from the pages of, that Mirage issue number 17. And I love all the weapons that he comes with. I think it's pretty amazing that he comes with almost all the weapons for all 4 turtles, except for Raph. One thing I'm not sure what to do with is where to put the nunchucks. He's got no belt, so I don't know where to put the nunchucks. Maybe just, can just hang them on the back like that. But, now he's got everything on his body, which looks amazing. I think it looks amazing. Especially, I really like this bow staff. This bow staff is pretty ballin'. I dig it. So this is the only comparison I'm going to do. I'm not going to get out all the Mirage figures or all the Turtles because they're all the same. But obviously, his height is exactly the same as the normal Turtles. So to the top of the head, it's about 6 inches, a little under 6 inches. And like I said, looking at the front, the proportions definitely match the rest of the Turtles. I know he doesn't have a shell in the middle because it's covered by his shirt, but he's definitely got the same proportions as the other Turtle. The legs are super chunky, just like the regular Turtles. The feet are about the same, arms are about the same. And I definitely love the skin color change here, the much darker, sort of grittier look to the skin color. Alright, that's the newest Mirage figure, the Wanderer. So again, Wanderer, deep dive, based on issue 17 of the original Mirage series. And it's a pretty awesome figure, if you ask me. I wasn't so sure I was gonna get it, because it's a deep dive. Wasn't so sure, but I'm glad I did. The accessories are awesome. The sculpt work is awesome. There's a couple minor things that I pointed out, not super happy with, but the NECA quality is there. NECA has won my trust over the years, right? And if they misfire once in a while, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. And I think this figure definitely hits way more than it misses. And it's so cool. It's so cool. I would highly suggest, if you get it, that you look up issue 17 and read through issue 17 of the Mirage series. It's super cool. And I think the best thing I like about this figure is the head. I'm obsessed with this head, this unmasked head. I'm fixated on it for some reason. This is the first, unmasked turtle head that I've seen in action figure form from NECA, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there has been a figure before. Let me know in the comments below if I'm, talking out of my butt. But thanks for checking out another one with me. I love this figure. I think it's a precursor to the last Ronin figure. And I don't know. The Mirage series keeps on giving. Keeps on rolling along. So guys, gals, non-binary pals, thanks for tuning in. Peace out.